Your latest news update from Western Mass News.
Hello, I'm Mary Wilson, and here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. One person was killed in a shooting in Springfield last night. It happened around 7 p.m. on Allen Street near the Wave gas station. Police arrived on scene and found two individuals, including a male who was the gunshot victim. Police say the other person was involved. The victim was taken to Bay State Medical Center, where he later died from his injuries. That shooting is under investigation. Governor-elect Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor-elect Kim Driscoll made a trip to Springfield today. The pair is hosting a series of service events this week with a goal of bringing communities together and giving back to those in need. Healey and Driscoll joined local leaders where they gave out gifts to more than 1,000 families in the North End neighborhood. We're learning new information about the suspect who police say stabbed 4 University of Idaho students to death. 29-year-old Brian Christopher Kohlberger is set to be extradited tomorrow to face murder charges after he was arrested Friday in Pennsylvania. Kohlberger's family releasing a statement saying, in part, "We have fully cooperated with law enforcement agencies in an attempt to seek the truth and promote his presumption of innocence."
I'm meteorologist Jana Brown with a check of your forecast. We'll start off with fair conditions this evening, but clouds will be increasing overnight. Temps chilly, dropping into the upper 20s to low 30s, and wind will become calm. Now, as we continue into tomorrow, we are starting a stretch of rainy weather. Tomorrow, we'll begin with showers starting off in the morning. Temperatures in the valley are going to take their time warming up. I think we're only going to make it into the middle 40s tomorrow afternoon. Still above normal by about 10 degrees, but the higher terrain should actually be a bit warmer with highs getting closer to 50. But we're still not cold enough to see any kind of wintry mix. It should be all rain for us. Then as we head through the rest of this week, we've got showers that take a break Tuesday night, but then they return on Wednesday, especially in the afternoon, a period of steadier rain expected. And then Thursday, we start trending colder as high pressure builds to the north. The high terrain could see a little mixing, but the valley will just have another round of chilly showers. And it looks like we'll be dealing with that again for the end of the week. We go from 58 for a high on Wednesday to 40 and breezy Thursday with continued showers. Friday could see a few rain and snow showers with highs in the upper 30s.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.